sometimes bad publicity is a bad thing. Just a few minutes ago, I saw in a group for concrete coating polishers, this is a whole group of companies. This is what they do. They polish concrete. The biggest guy in the industry, Jeff Gear of TSR Holdings, the one that all the other concrete coating companies want to be like, just called out this guy, Jackson Stevenson, for calling out Marco. So this guy, Jackson, bless his heart, he's trying to grow his agency serving concrete coating companies. So what does he do? He creates tons and tons of posts inside these concrete coating companies, creates all these YouTubes saying, I have the best ads. And this guy, Marco, is terrible. And Marco is not very good. But then what happened inside that group that you saw?
They completely turned on him. They full supported Marco because Marco's built genuine connections with these people. And even the ones that he probably hasn't even talked to, they were there to stick up for him because those connections, I mean, they just expand. So if someone had a great time with Marco and they're a friend of theirs, then that connection expands. So they had all the support was from Marco, and I mean, this
it's
guy
kind of
just
funny,
getting torn
right?
apart.
Yeah.
He's torn apart in the comments.
And the biggest guy in the industry, Jeff Gear, sends a screenshot where this guy, Jackson Stevenson, is using TSR Holdings as his client, bidding on the name, and then screenshotting this thing where this guy, Jackson, is trying to bash on Marco. There's plenty of room for everybody.
Yeah.
Why don't you actually do good work, build a great reputation? And then Jeff Gear, this is like the worst thing that could happen to anybody, says, don't ever work with Jackson Stevenson. This guy's a fraud. He does terrible work. If you're a concrete coating company, avoid this guy at all costs. Obviously, for what we do and what you do, you want to gather testimonials, positive mentions. You want to show that you do great things so that your reputation and word of mouth and reviews and all that works in your favor. So this is one example, and we're including a picture of it below, where this guy has intentionally said these things that have ruined his reputation. So even if you're not in concrete coating, what this tells us is the world is so small in any industry. Let's say that, you're in some small town in West Virginia, right? It's a small town,
Yeah,
right?
no,
everything's a small town. Or you're a plumber. All the plumbers, they talk to each other. I had an episode with Glenn Vo. He's a dentist, and he's got 40,000 dentists in his group. It's called Nifty Thrifty Dental. And he says, when these marketers come hit me up, Glenn, I'll do your digital marketing. I'll drive more dental leads and all that. And then in the group, all the dentists, they talk about all these agencies that hit them up and all that.
Yeah.
But it's just an interesting lesson to see how important reputation is, to Seth's point, working in ways that you don't even realize. Like what have you noticed, Seth? And if you guys haven't met Seth Jordan, he's absolutely amazing. Go Google him. Hopefully he's the number one Seth Jordan.
Hopefully,
the many Seth Jordans there. But just in the time that we spent together today and yesterday doing stuff, what have you learned about reputation?
It's everything. I mean, building genuine connections with people is going to take you way farther than the perfect ad, which I think it's funny when you go back to this Jackson Stevenson guy. The first thing he's trying to highlight against Marco is that, he's got the best ads in the business. And it's like, that's not what matters. It's getting the right clients and doing a good job for them. And the reality is it takes a long time to build a good reputation. I mean, I think it takes a while to lose that reputation too. And this guy's he's been doing this for a while now, right? He's been making hit videos against Marco. And so, I mean, if you have people that genuinely believe in you and you've made a genuine connection with, you're not just going to lose that over some petty issue. We had a client earlier today where there was something kind of similar to that going on.
Yeah.
And because Dennis has such a great connection with them and they have a great connection with the other, I don't want to mention any names, but
so a client had a problem. You know what happens, right? When you have customers, there's always things that happen. Something wasn't done right. Someone forgot to do something. And with great communication, you resolve that.
Yeah.
Right. So the client came to us and said, hey, we have a problem. Can you help? I'm like, my bad. I'll own this. Mm-hmm. I will take it up. You don't have to worry. You gave it to me. I will take care of it. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. That's spot on.
And so we've had 3 or 4 calls today that are all based on reputation. Other folks that reached out to us. Our buddy who's a roofer in Delaware. I've never met him before, but he has a young adult, Brandon, who he wants to train in our program and hire 3 VAs. And it's all because of the reputation where we've hired a lot of VAs. We're constantly posting. How do we hire VAs? Here's how we did it. Here's our checklist. Here's here's a group, digital marketing with Dennis View with a ton of people in it. There's VAs in that group. And, we're showing people how we do this stuff. So then they say, oh, we've seen that you've hired a lot of VAs. I trust you enough with my business to use your process, to want to work with you guys. And so what a great opportunity, because now this is another, what is Brandon, 18? He just graduated high
Something
school,
like that. He's about to graduate high school, I think.
Now this is perfect for someone like Seth, who's a little further along, to coach Brandon. And in the videos that Seth and I have made, he talks about how he wants to be able to coach other young adults. He already is coaching young adults as a soccer coach, and his fiance is a coach and a teacher, and I'm a coach and a teacher. Like how awesome is that, where things come together? And now some things that I built with my reputation are helping build your business.
Yeah, absolutely.
And prior to this, no one knew who Jordan Media was.
I think it's important to remember too, like we were talking to the roofer earlier, that reputation goes both ways. We could instantly tell just by talking to him that he was very genuine. He really, really wanted to get to know us and work with us. And as much as our reputation, speaks for itself, he immediately gave us everything we needed to know on him that spoke for himself. So I think that's important too, to have clients that have a great reputation as well, because you don't want to soil it either way.
Yeah. And the thing is, he came to us. So we're the emergency room. We're the surgeons. They come in. They're in pain. We're not trying to sell them anything. He already said multiple times, I want to work with you. I have this problem. We need to scale our marketing. You've been teaching how to repurpose videos and how to run ads and how to hire VAs and all that. Like, I already believe that you can do that. Help me do that. And so we never had to say, and by the way, you should really buy this thing. He said multiple times, how do we work together?
Multiple times before we finally gave him the actual offers and whatnot.
And think of all the sales bros, the money Twitter people, all these young adults that are flashing Lamborghinis and whatever, and they're cold calling and dialing and spamming and emailing to the moon, trying to convince people they need to sign up for their thing. We never do that. Zero outbound. Everything we have is inbound because it's all based on reputation.
That's right. It's the way to do it.
And I'd love for Seth to be able to teach all the other young adults out there what the right way of doing it is. It's not, look, if you're a door knocker or a salesperson, no offense, that's cool too. But in the world of doing digital marketing, you need to practice what you preach. If you're going to sell digital marketing, you better be a practitioner of digital marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with something that's online, it's harder to show the physical evidence. And if it's something in person, it can be very obvious. Say it's pressure washing, and this is the work we've done. Looks great.
And we have a lot of other pressure washers we can show.
Yeah.
And so the pressure washers, we want them to talk to each other. We want them to interview each other, because that creates better SEO among all the pressure washing companies. Of course, they're in different cities, so they're not competitors.
Yeah.
Cool. So what's the final word on your reputation is more important than you know?
Your reputation is everything. It goes back to what we said at the start. That's going to get you more clients. That's going to bring you more business than anything else will. It's going to be more important than your best ads, than all the perfect things you could do. Having that reputation, it's going to bring you so many more clients. It's going to bring you so many more friendships and genuine relationships.
So what is something practical they can do to enhance their reputation based on what we've talked about here today?
I would immediately just start trying to interact with people, especially ones that are in a similar maybe niche as you, or even just locally, other businesses that they could have nothing to do with your business, and trying to build these relationships with them and try to build friendships. Don't look at it from a business standpoint, and that'll come later. Yep.
And if you're a concrete coating company and you meet people at the World of Concrete in Vegas, and you do concrete coating in Waukesha, like Excel Concrete Coatings, and other concrete coating companies in other cities, instead of just taking a picture, make a little 1-minute video with them, turn that into a guest blog post on their site, honoring them, and they'll post it. And they interview you or whatever. So you're creating blog posts honoring other concrete coating companies. They do the same for you. Maybe you're talking about this particular Spartic finish or whatever. I don't know anything about concrete coating, right? But how they, someone else did a whole video on how they did this particular kind of job, right? Or how to tell if the floor is cracked or whatever it is, right? If someone else has done that and you want to honor them, you can link to that article or video that they made. And likewise, if they see something that you've done, then they can link to you. And that's a completely legit white hat way. White hat is within Google's guidelines way of doing things. And so if you're building relationships and you care about doing things the right way and all that, there will be evidence of that. So we just want you to collect that evidence, then use what we teach as part of the content factory, get your VA, and then that's how you get the result of SEO. That's how you drive more ads and all that. Not because you hire a third-party person, but because you've collected those raw ingredients, real relationships, real experience. Your guys out there, in the garage, all that stuff, doing the work. So if you do that, don't buy any SEO from these other people. They're here just to trick you. Okay? Don't buy SEO. That's search engine engineering. I'm telling you this. Love to hear what you guys think. How does reputation work for you? What are you going to do about this?